Good morning and welcome to Stivers Homestead, and one annoying guinea saying good morning as well. It is cold, man. When summer, that last day of summer hit, it's a turn off straight into fall. No thank you for anything else. It's been great though. We love the cooler temps, we love the humidity going down, but that means our gardens are starting to slow down. But if you did this, I'm here to congratulate you because it was a huge accomplishment. Could you calm down? Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Don't jump. Did you make it to frost? So we haven't fully gotten a frost just yet. We are definitely having cold enough temps to where it is going to start killing the plants down. Rusty, what are you doing? Rusty, what are you doing? One big goal of Jen and I is no matter what we go through the gardening season, with the bug pressure, with the droughts, with the too much rain, with the bugs, we always try to get as much as possible to the frost date. Because in our eyes, that means you just had yourself about the most successful gardening summer that you could possibly have. And so if you did that, I'm here to congratulate you, because it is a task that is difficult. It is a task that requires you to stay focused. And if you did it, you're awesome. Now it may look like this and don't look anything like it did in the middle of summer, but they're living and they're still growing. It gives you a chance to reflect on your year. We like to do that at the end of every summer end, when we're starting to maybe think about tearing out the garden. Obviously we still got some fall stuff that's growing, which is exciting, and I hope you all are too. But it allows you to reflect on what could I have done better, what went well, and what are we gonna do differently or do the same next year. Now let me throw this in here. If you didn't make it to frost on some of your plants, it's okay. I'm not saying that you did a bad job. It's still hard work to get it to that point, and the different climates really make that difficult. Here, it seems to be we can drag things into that frost date pretty easily if we stay on top of the minor things. So what are those minor things? Weeding your garden is number one. That's the one thing that most beginner gardeners lose to, is the weeds take over. You're not staying on them quick enough, and then they take over, and then they completely take your plants out. And I get it, we've been there too, but that's number one. Number two, keeping control on them bugs, right? You know, there's one of those things to where we like to see bugs in our garden, because I mean, it's an organic garden. If there's nothing, not even a spider, that means you're probably spraying stuff that you might not want to be consuming. So you're always going to have bug pressure, but it's about keeping the load down, keeping it to a controllable level to where they're not eating everything that you have, and you're still able to get plants. Number three, support system. You got to be able to support your plants. Like these okra could have used a little extra support this year. We had some pretty rough storms that came in, so next year when we plant them, I'm going to make sure that we have something to maybe tie these up to help so they're not falling and able to grow successfully. Now we got lucky because the root bound did not break up, and so they just look weird because they're leaning, but they're perfectly healthy plants. Probably the best okra year we've ever had. So maybe we do keep them leaning. One of the last key factors, soil maintenance. Make sure that you're rejuvenating your soil. After every round of crops, it's taking a lot of your nutrients out of your soil because it's going into the plants. Make sure you're adding good aged compost back into those beds, giving them more life for when the next year or the next time you planted them, they have a fresh, good start to grow. A lot of people don't realize that the more you just plant in it and don't add back to your soil, even if it's the plants, sometimes the plants can put those nutrients back in. You're going to start seeing over the years those plants weakening out and not growing like they used to because there's no nutrients in the soil. It's very simple. Don't do it scientific. You don't even have to get a soil test. If you have raised beds or something like that, just add natural aged compost on top of it. The worms will pull all that down. You don't even have to worry about tilling it in, and you're going to have great successful gardens every year. So in saying all that, I salute you. It is hard. This is not easy to do, to grow a garden and to grow it all year. It takes almost everything out of you. Like I always say, you know, throughout the year, we're maintaining in the summer because this garden needs all the attention. And then when winter comes, you can rest, and then you can start focusing on growing in other areas. So that's what we're going to be doing. As we're getting the last bits of harvest out of our garden, we're going to start thinking about the next year and what's next for Stivers Homestead. Because if you're not growing, you're always going to be sitting right where you are. And that's what I don't want any of you all to do. Never get comfortable in the situation that you're in. Always try to grow to be better while valuing what you have. So the work may be winding down in the garden, but there's more to do. Let's not rest too much. let's get back to work. One thing I am still really excited about that we haven't harvested yet, but it's getting close, are sweet potatoes. So you're supposed to wait till they start dying back. The tips of the sweet potato shoots start dying back. That's when you know you're at the best and ready. But our freeze might get us to harvest these sooner rather than later, because we're really getting cold at night. But we'll see. Might peek in and see what we got going on in there on a couple of them. But right now we're just still waiting. But this is probably one of the biggest things that we've tried new this year, and we're so excited to harvest. So one big thing headed for us as we're getting into these cooler temps is our wood burning stove in the store. We've got to get the piping and all that stuff this weekend hooked up, because it is cold in there, and that is going to be our primary heat source. So I got to get that completed, and we are so excited. If y'all are new to us or haven't been around a whole lot, y'all know at our old place, wood heat was our only source of heat. So it's something that is also hard work, but it's a lot of fun. Jen and I absolutely love wood heat, and we love the sustainability of having a wood burning stove. It's so important to have, even if you're using gas heat or electric heat, having a wood burning stove on the side for emergencies is a must-have in our book, a must-have for sustainability. So now we got two, and that's really exciting. Let me show you this one just in case y'all haven't seen it. It's kind of like a pot belly, and it's a cook stove on top. I'm so pumped to be out here and getting that started and getting me some coffee going on in the mornings and having that ready, because it is going to be so fantastic. So we got to do a little bit. I want to get something on the ground to protect it, but most importantly, I want to get some tin on the back to protect the wall. And then we got to go straight through the roof, which, small building, not too much piping that we need, so that's always helpful. But that will be on the next line of projects for us to complete. By the way, surprisingly enough, we got it off Amazon. Isn't that crazy? We had been searching everywhere because we definitely wanted a potbelly style wood burning stove. And we were finding used ones, but they were the same price as like brand new on Amazon. It's the real deal. I mean, they ship it to you, and it's like you mildly put it together. Basically just getting the legs on it. But I'll put the link down below if you're curious on it, because it's pretty sweet. And while I'm in here, look what's back. Salves are back. So that's really exciting. Calendula and comfrey. Calendula is completed right now. But by the time you're seeing this video, comfrey will be available as well down in the Etsy store. I know a lot of people have been reaching out asking us when it was going to be back in stock. It is. If you're not familiar, calendula is like your Neosporin replacement. It's just calendula, oil, extra virgin olive oil, and beeswax. Comfrey is comfrey, extra virgin olive oil, and beeswax. That's it. No scents, nothing like that. Comfrey is like your icy hot replacer. It works for aches and pains. Calendula also is a huge thing for burns. Like, that is something that is underrated on what it's good for. It is fantastic for any kind of burn you have. I've got stories. So that's enough chitter chatter. Let's get this day started and see what Jen has on the list for us. So first on the list is killing those last remaining flies. We are so excited for fly season to be over. My gosh, when you have cattle, all you can do is try to maintain. But you get to this point, you're like, I am over it. So that's where we are. But they are going down. Now, speaking of gardens and making it to frost, we have been having plenty of Mater Sammys because we are going to miss them when they're gone. So this is one of our last tomatoes we have in here. There's still a few out there that we're just waiting to turn. But let's get this bad boy cut up. Look at that beautifulness. So this is a pineapple tomato, which is definitely one of our favorites that we had this year. If y'all been around a while, you know we like pink ox hearts. It's because that big meaty inside, and these pineapples are just the same. Big meaty inside, and just so good for Mater sandwiches. Perfect. Did you get them? No. All right, breakfast was fantastic. One of the last remaining tomatoes.
Hopefully there's a few more.
Hopefully. So you really have to savor those last ones until next year.
You have to treat everyone like it's the last.
That one looks a little interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Is it still good?
I don't know. Yeah. So we have a bunch of little sugar baby watermelons, and not all of them are like fully to the point that they could be, but we went in to harvest them because the plants had died back. So we're checking them out now. This one doesn't look the hottest. Yeah, I mean, overall I think they're fine, but to preserve, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna freeze dry these.
I think it'll be better for Bessie.
Yeah, give that one to Bessie.
It's whiskey that just could be.
Okay, that one looks good. Coolio. I got the freeze jar cooling down.
Oh. And he's got two patients.
So slight change of plans. We only had a couple that were really worth saving for us. The rest will go to Bessie, which she really very much enjoys. So we're just gonna cut these up and eat these fresh, and then Jen is going to show you all how she makes her bread.
Okay, so we're just gonna be making a white sandwich, like sliced bread that you would use for sandwiches, you know, with dinner or whatever. It's not fancy, not focaccia bread, not an artisan bread, just a sandwich bread. So it's very, very simple, not many ingredients. It just takes a little bit of time. So we're gonna go ahead and get our first round of stuff mixed together. So we're gonna do 1/4 cup of sugar first. We're gonna do 1/4 cup of oil. We're gonna do 2.5 teaspoons of salt. We're gonna do 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. Mine's just dry activated yeast.
Clink.
All right, next is 2 3/4 cup of very warm water. And now we're gonna do 3 cups of flour. So we're gonna have more flour than that, but for now we're just doing the 3 cups.
This is Jen's favorite part about baking, is the
Yes.
flour part, because it gets
I
everywhere.
hate flour.
You're doing pretty good though.
Yep.
It's all about getting the process down.
Now we're just gonna, my recipe, it tells me to whisk because that's what I originally saw, but I'm gonna be using my bread hook, so I'm just gonna use that because we're just mixing it together. That's it. It doesn't have to be specific. Okay, now that it's all whisked together, we are gonna cover it and let it sit for 10 minutes.
So you're gonna host your banger, huh?
Yep.
So is this basically getting the yeast activated?
Yes.
Getting some bubblies going on?
Also, I forgot to tell you, this will make 2 loaves. So it's a lot of dough, and you'll come out with 2 loaves at the end, which is really good because one will go fast.
Nice. All right, see you in 10 minutes. Bessie.
Okay, now that it's been 10 minutes, we are gonna add the rest of our flour. So 3 cups, but we're gonna add it really slowly while we mix with our dough attachment.
All right.
You might have to add a little bit more flour, but get it to what you want. I've got my hands wet because that makes it easier to hold. I've got my counter floured, and I'm gonna get it out. Okay, so you can still add a little bit of flour if you need to. One thing about it is if it doesn't need the flour, it'll just leave it behind, so you're not going to put too much in. But we're just kneading it a little bit, not too much. And then we're going to put it in our bowl that is sprayed with Pam or butter, whatever. You just don't want it sticking to the sides. And then we're going to cover it and let it sit for an hour.
All right. How long's it been?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. We got busy doing a couple other things, but if you're doing this, it's been an hour.
Yep. So now we're taking it out, so it just comes right out of our bowl because we had the Pam. We're just gonna knead it a little bit, not a whole lot. Like I said, don't want it to get too tough. And we've already got our bread pans. Well, we didn't spray them, we put parchment paper in them. And then we're gonna separate this into 2 loaves.
Get a little pinchy pinch.
Yep.
Bada bang, bada bang.
And then just kind of form it into what like a bread loaf would be. It doesn't really matter, but you can tuck your ends or you don't have to tuck your ends. All that's up to you.
Voila.
And
There it is.
next one going in.
All right, what now, sugar?
Now we're gonna set that right there. We're gonna cover it again with our towel until the bread has risen to right at the bread pan or a little bit over.
So I ask her this question about every time she makes this. When you put it in there, like it doesn't have to be like touching all sides. It'll rise and do its own thing and fill itself up. So just FYI.
You got no warmth, humidity, nothing. Okay, bread is to the top, a little bit over. Oven is preheated to 350 and we're gonna put these in for 30 minutes. Timer just went off. We're gonna pull these out. We're gonna put some melted butter on top.
They look good and smell good. The melted butter has been added and we're gonna let them sit over here for 5 minutes to cool before we take them out. It's time. Look at them beauties. Still hot. Man, it looks so good.
Yep. Yummy. Fresh baked. homemade bread.
Sandwich bread.
Yep.
Look at that. So there you have it. Very simple, very rustic, very few ingredients sandwich bread, right?
And very easy. And it
Really
just takes the most time is the rising. The rest of it's so simple.
Yeah, it's like you said, the work is not hard. It's just having to wait. But it's worth paying off to make it wait, because then you get that nice rise of the bread.
And a lot of people ask for just a regular sliced sandwich bread. So there you go. It's not a fancy, you know, big loaf for artisan bread. It's just a normal loaf of bread.
Well, everything has its own love, right? You know, what we eat the most is sandwich bread.
Yeah.
Artisan bread and stuff like that are good with dinners and like on the side and stuff, but this is the stuff we're going to be eating often because you can put a piece of ham in the middle of it, kind of thing. So y'all, it's been a fun day. We had a lot of fun in the garden talking about the things that we're celebrating on getting all the way to frost. Remember the things that I talked about for next year if you didn't make it there. And don't be hard on yourself. It happens. Last year we had probably one of our worst gardens we ever had, and then this year we turned around and had a year's worth of food that we got out of it. So every year's a little bit different. You just have to be able to learn to adjust, but stay to that core capabilities. And again, if you did make it to frost, salute to you.
Yes. Don't forget salves are back.
Yes, salves are back. Go get them while you can. And let us know if you make this bread and how you think about it. Also, we love ideas for different types of bread. Throw them down below because this one is getting wild in the bacon area. All right, y'all, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for us. Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.